We will start off with Matt Shodell from Kane Sport. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, Jim. I guess the big question heading into the next game is just if you can update us sort of on if you've been able to get anyone back off the injury list, how you've been able to like hold a normal practice in any sense or semblance of the word. Can you sort of just update us on that?
Well, pretty simply, yesterday and again today, we will not have Chris Likes, Cam Auguste, Rodney Miller, Sam Wardenberg, Earl Timberlake, and today Dan Gack will be out. So we'll have 6 players that will be missing. Oh, did I add Matt Cross? Oh, and Matt Cross. Those guys did not practice yesterday, will not practice today.
We'll go now to Cal Friedman. Cal.
Coach, with the injuries, you've seen Anthony Walker play a lot of small forward, a position that he hasn't played a lot before these past couple of games. What progress have you seen from him at the position so far?
I'm very happy with Anthony. I think he's a very good, solid player with a lot of room for improvement. I don't think he realizes that he's a fine three-point shooter. Sometimes he's reluctant to shoot the three if he's missed one or two. But during the course of our practices, we keep track of all of our statistics. And if you look at just scrimmages only, live action, he's shooting 50% from three. So if he misses one or two, okay, everybody misses some threes. But I think Anthony's one of those very conservative guys who, if he misses one or two, he might choose not to shoot the third. Whereas I'm really encouraging him to just keep working on his three, believe in himself, and if he's open, don't hesitate.
We'll go now to Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Michelle.
Hey, Jim, 2 things. One, you mentioned that long list of all those players who can't practice. How many of those players do you expect will be available to play tomorrow? And then I also wanted to ask you about the whole transfer situation with Elijah Olani. And is that NCAA ruling still supposed to be at 5 o'clock, which would be an hour before your game? What's the update on that? Well, and which of these guys do you expect might be able to play tomorrow? Thanks.
Yeah, well, with Elijah, I spoke to him yesterday. I spoke with him just a few moments ago, and I told him that I'm very, very hopeful. I have my fingers crossed. I hear rumors that all transfers in men and women's basketball are going to be eligible starting 5 o'clock tomorrow. So in all likelihood, he will be in uniform. He will be in the starting lineup, and he will play as many minutes as he can possibly play. It's very conceivable he could play all 40 minutes tomorrow. The guys that I mentioned that are out did not practice yesterday or will not practice today. We won't know until late tomorrow afternoon if any of them are available. I have my fingers crossed that Dan Gack will be available. He did actually practice a little yesterday, but his knees are bothering him today. So we can't afford for him to practice today and those knees get worse. So he's going to sit out today, and hopefully that additional rest will prepare him to at least be functional tomorrow at 6 o'clock and be able to contribute some minutes. Matt Cross, he's been dealing with that shoulder. I think the way I would describe it is he's day-to-day, but the other guys are clearly out. Chris Likes, Cam Auguste, Rodney Miller, Sam Wardenberg. So we have, in all likelihood, we'll have 6 scholarship players and Willie Harrington, our walk-on, available for play tomorrow. We're going to have to change the warm-up because we don't have enough guys to do even 2-line layups.
What does Elijah bring? Because we haven't seen him play. What does he bring?
I'm hoping that he brings a lot of points, rebounds, assists, defense. He's a good player. You know, he's a lot like guys we've had, like a Cam Auguste, like a Sheldon McClellan. Those guys are pretty athletic, can score the ball pretty well. Elijah's a very good cutter. He'll probably get some baskets just moving without the ball. He's worked very hard defensively, and he's been on the scout team. He's not played with the returning players, so it'll be interesting to see how he makes the transition from being the opponent to actually being Miami.
We'll go now to David Froner from the Sun Sentinel. David.
Hey, Coach, I was actually just about to ask you that exactly, is just how game ready Elijah is in what you've prepared him for, and, before finding out about this potential ruling, and then just your overall thoughts on the rule in general as well, if you can.
Well, when it comes to Elijah, we're very, very pleased with the way he's practiced. He's been at every practice the last month. He's worked very, very hard. He's in good shape. He can make a three. He's very good at going to the basket. He's athletic, and I think will be a very significant contributor. I wish this decision about transfers had been made earlier. We could have had him over the weekend. He would have made a significant difference then. The way I look at rules is the rule is either good or it's not good. And in this particular case, if they make all the transfers eligible right now, well, I look at it two ways. One, I'm very, very happy if they do it because I think it's a good thing. But the second part is I think they should have done it before the season ever began. And the reason I say that is because it sounds like they're going to make that official, in January, that all transfers are going to be eligible and no one's going to have to redshirt or sit out. I don't know why you wait to make those decisions. I'm not an administrator. I don't know how those things work. I've never been involved with a committee that has a question before them long before the season starts. And in my mind, the decision was already made that transfers are going to be eligible starting in next year. Well, if it's good for next year and from now on, why isn't it good now? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. So one of the issues I see is in the last 4 or 5 years, there's been a tremendous increase in transfers. And now there's over 1,000 transfers in men's basketball every year. That's an average of 3 per team. Well, that means 3 guys are sitting on somebody's bench on scholarship, not playing basketball. Again, to me, that doesn't make any sense financially. It doesn't make any sense in terms of the player having to waste a year sitting and not playing, not competing. So, and then when you tell me that, hey, we're going to change it next year, well, why are we waiting?
I have time for 2 more for Coach L. We'll start with Chris Stock from Inside the U. Chris.
Yeah, Coach, curious, what kind of challenge does Justin Champagnie present to you? What makes him difficult to guard?
Well, we played Pitt last year twice, and there were 2 very close, hardly fought contests. I'm expecting it'll be the same tomorrow. One of the differences is Justin Champagnie has just raised his level of play. He's had 20 points and 20 rebounds the last couple of games. He's averaging almost 20, averaging almost 14 rebounds. He's playing at a very high level, like, you would expect a veteran player to do. He's a handful for us, but Pitt really, really functions best when Xavier Johnson is playing great. And he's a point guard who can score the ball, who can deliver the ball to the other guys. He's very athletic, and he's a handful for anybody. But if their top 3 scorers, Champagnie, Tony, and Xavier Johnson, I think we match up decently with them, and hopefully we can keep everybody out of foul trouble. That'll be a big part of it. And hopefully we'll do better than shooting 1 for 17 on our first 3-pointers. I'm so shocked that that's the case because we keep stats and our guys have been shooting in the mid-30s to 50% from 3 in practices. So, and I don't think a lot of the threes have been really bad shots. I think they've been open, in rhythm, and something that I'm confident our guys can make. So hopefully we'll make some more threes tomorrow.
Last question for Coach L comes from Steve Wine from the Associated Press. Steve, go ahead.
Jim, to what extent, if at all, do you attribute this rash of injuries to changes in the routine because of COVID, the way guys are able to condition, the way you're practicing? Does that have anything to do with this?
You know, I think it's really hard to determine why someone sprains an ankle. Chris Likes shot a jump shot and the guy came under him. In the NBA, that would have been an automatic flagrant 1. Instead, they didn't even call a foul. Well, the rules are probably a little different in the NBA than college. In Cam McGusty's case, he turned quickly and pushed off to prevent a backdoor layup, which he did, but he strained a hamstring muscle. I think that can happen to anyone at any time, no matter what kind of shape you're in, how much stretching you do, how much weightlifting you do, but I am concerned about it. We've had so many weird injuries. You know, Rodney, he dunked the ball in warm-ups and strained his groin. That was before the game. That was in practice. And then he tried to go during the game, and as soon as he started running, he knew he couldn't go. And then, did any of you have bursitis? I mean, that's something that, you know, I don't think I've ever had a player with bursitis before. So just, it is what it is. Whoever's dressed and in uniform, going to play, hopefully play really well.
All right, thank you, Coach.